My folk tales, sir. Today we're talking about an old folktale sort of thing, and we're talking about the Wendigo. If you find that name familiar, it's probably because it is extremely popular in pop culture. The Wendigo has been featured on shows like Supernatural and Charmed, and even one of my favorite YouTube series called Crypt TV Monster Universe has their own version of it called The Mordeo. Now, folktales always have little differences, little variations from mouth to mouth telling. However, the main idea of where the Wendigo comes from is that two hunters were out hunting and they got caught in a blizzard. And one of those hunters, out of absolute desperation and hunger, resorted to cannibalism and ate his companion. Evidently, after tasting human flesh, all of his humanity was lost, in a way. What was left in his place was a being of absolutely insatiable hunger. The story of the Wendigo is of Native American origin. Initially, the Wendigo was nothing more than something spiritual, which, don't get me wrong, still has plenty of power over people. But as a spirit, they would possess their hosts and convince them to do unthinkable things of violence and, of course, cannibalistic desires, which is quite a literal association. It is very unsettling to think that a Wendigo could possess you in such a way that you would turn to killing and eating fellow companions. However, the physical version of this story is just as horrifying. I have a quote here from Basil H. Johnson, and this is him describing the Wendigo. The Wendigo was gaunt to the point of emaciation, its desiccated skin pulled tightly over its bones. With its bones pushing out against its skin, its complexion the ash gray of death, and its eyes pushed back deep into their sockets. The Wendigo looked like a giant skeleton recently disinterred from their grave. What lips it had were tattered and bloody, unclean and suffering from the supping of human flesh. The Wendigo gave off a strange and eerie odor of decay and decomposition, of death and corruption. With a body like that, it doesn't seem like it would be very good at hunting down its prey, but unfortunately it has its own way of making the prey come to it. The Wendigos can, unfortunately, imitate to great detail the voices of your loved ones. The Wendigo itself has a hunger that can never be satiated. Evidently, that is because its body grows to the size of its meal, so it is never completely full. Wendigos have most frequently been spotted in Canada or Minnesota. They prefer the north, the winter, the cold, anywhere where starvation may be prominent. The Native Americans had what is apparently called a taboo ceremony. They would perform this ceremony during times of famine in order to keep the spirit, or the physical being, of the Wendigo at bay. The spirit of the Wendigo, which is something that is primarily a being of greed and gluttony, is actually a warning against, well, obviously turning to your friends and family and then eating them, because that's a bad thing, and falling victim to the spirit of the Wendigo does not help that. The ceremony, which is apparently dancing backwards around a drum, which probably is a whole lot cooler and definitely more beautiful than what I make it out to sound like. The Wendigo actually have a mental illness named after them, and it makes a lot of sense, because Wendigo psychosis is a deep craving to eat human flesh. It is debated whether this is a real psychosis or if it is not. But the most famous case of Wendigo psychosis was in the winter of 1878, where Swift Runner killed and ate his wife and 5 remaining children. I say 5 remaining because after his eldest son died, he broke and then he killed everyone and ate them. Because he wasn't actually too far from food in the blizzard, it was decided that it was not a killing out of desperation and hunger, but just that he felt the urge to eat flesh, which he did admit to, and he was executed. Very chilling. I will say that wasn't as chilling as Walking Sam, probably because there's some separation between it. Like, Walking Sam, he is likely still claiming victims, but the Wendigos haven't had a confirmed attack since the 1920s. But yes, that is it for this video. If you have a paranormal or a scary story that you would like me to read on my channel, don't forget to send it to my email down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below as well what you think of Wendigos. Do you think Wendigo psychosis is real? Do you think that Wendigos are a spiritual or physical being? And if you have any video suggestions, go ahead and drop that down below as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Madwitch signing out. Keep it spooky.